Urban Libraries STEM video for the month of July. This will be on July 10th. I'm Miss Chrissy and I'm here with my helpers. And my helpers today are
Evie, Abel, Nora,
and Nora. Very good. Okay, today we're going to be doing an Oobleck egg drop. And if you don't know what Oobleck is, it's a really fun thing that you can play with all by itself, and that's super fun. We don't even have to do the rest of the experiment to have fun, but we're going to. It's actually based on a Dr. Seuss book called Bartholomew and the Oobleck. And it's this really fun story about a king who's bored and wants something new, and they make something for him, and they make Oobleck. And it's really special because it kind of doesn't follow the rules, and it's really weird, and strange things happen in the story. It's a fun story. You should check it out. We have it at the library. This is actually our copy, and it's by Dr. Seuss. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Okay, so today what we're talking about specifically is the scientific method. And the supplies that we're going to need to do this scientific experiment are right here on the counter in front of us. You're going to need cornstarch, quite a bit of it, in fact, 2 to 3 cups worth of cornstarch. You're going to need eggs. We're going to use a dozen because we're going to have 3 scientists doing the experiment, and each scientist that does the experiment is going to need 4 eggs. So you need at least 4 eggs to do this experiment. If you want to have more than one person do it, you will of course need more eggs. We need some sandwich baggies. I have a bowl to do some mixing in, and I have water in my measuring cup here, and then I have food coloring, which is optional. You don't have to have it at all. It just makes it a little fun and easier to see the Oobleck when it's around the egg. So the first thing we need to talk about is the scientific method and what that means. It is simply a series of steps that people use to do experiments and to guide a process. It is simply a guide. They are not strict rules. They are not strict steps. They just help you to do an experiment. The first step is to ask a question. So you have to just be curious about something to be a scientist and to do the scientific method. Then you do a little bit of research. Then you form a hypothesis. And hypothesis is just a fancy word for a guess, an educated guess. It can't be a wild, silly, crazy guess. It has to be an educated guess, which is where you think about the research that you just did and make a guess about what you think will happen. Then you do the experiment or the test. During the experiment and the test, you have to pay attention to your variables, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Then you observe and evaluate, you analyze the results, and then you share those results. We're going to share our results in this video with you right now, and I hope at the end of the video you guys share your results with me, and then you will have completed the scientific method. Okay, so our question today is going to be, I'm going to help us formulate the question. You guys can create another question on your own if you want after the video, a different separate question, and do the same process. But our question today is going to be, can Oobleck protect an egg in an egg drop? Okay, so first of all, what the heck is Oobleck? Right? So I'm going to tell you what Oobleck is. Please keep your hands to yourself. I'm going to tell you what Oobleck is, okay? It's a non-Newtonian fluid. Say what?
say what?
A non-Newtonian fluid. Okay, so Oobleck is super fascinating because it doesn't have a consistent state of matter. There are 3 states of matter, sometimes a 4th one. The 3 most common states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. But Oobleck, being non-Newtonian, isn't just one of those, which is super odd. That's very uncommon. When pressure is applied, so when you push on the Oobleck, just a minute, buddy. When you push on the Oobleck, it becomes a solid. When you let go, it becomes a liquid. Now, fluids normally behave in a normal pattern. Water is a fluid. We know what happens when we pour it into this bowl, right? It pours into the bowl, and then it pours back into the measuring cup. We know what water does. We know what it looks like. We can predict how it's going to behave, okay? This behavior, this predictable behavior, was described by Sir Isaac Newton, who taught us those laws of motion, right? For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction that we used in our bottle rocket one last time. He also talked about liquids and viscosity. Viscosity has to do with how they pour. Now, most kids can tell us, if I've got mud, is that going to pour as easily as water does? No, right? It's more viscous. A thick mud or syrup, like maple syrup from the refrigerator, it's going to pour slower. It's going to be thicker, right? It's more viscous. And that has to do with the friction between the molecules in those liquids, okay? So Newtonian fluids follow these laws of viscosity, and they flow the way that we expect them to flow. They pour out. Now, maple syrup pours more slowly, but it still pours out of the container, right? Now, a non-Newtonian fluid like Oobleck does not behave like that, okay? We can pour it, but also when we press on it, it becomes a solid. So this will be really more clear when we make the Oobleck, and we kind of get to play with it for a minute. But that's what Oobleck is, okay? So, our question again that we're asking is, will Oobleck protect the egg in the egg drop? The research is all that information I just told you about Oobleck and non-Newtonian fluids and viscosity and all of that. Okay, so that was our research. Now, our hypothesis is, what is our educated guess? Do you think that Oobleck is going to protect an egg in an egg drop? What do you think?
I think, yeah.
Okay, what do you think? We can all have a different hypothesis.
No.
What do you think?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, I like how we got, yes, no, and maybe. We got all the answers here.
Yes, no, maybe so.
Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, so you at home come up with your own hypothesis of what you think is going to happen based on what you know about eggs, based on what you know about non-Newtonian fluids like Oobleck now from our little bit of research I just did. And what do you think is going to happen? Okay, then we get to test it. So the first step in testing it is we have to make our Oobleck, okay? So to make Oobleck, we're going to use cornstarch, and we're going to do a 2-to-1 ratio, okay? So that just means however much Oobleck you put in, you're gonna put in half as much water. So we're gonna put in,
on the table.
no, we're gonna put in 2 cups of cornstarch and 1 cup of water. So I've already got my 1 cup of water measured out, and we're gonna put in 2 cups of cornstarch. So I'm gonna let Abel put in 1 cup of cornstarch, Nora put in 1 cup of cornstarch, and Evie put in 1 cup of water, okay? Okay, I will do the food coloring just so we make sure we don't get too much on accident. I'm just gonna put
Abel, I can't see.
maybe 2 drops of food coloring in just so that we can see. All right, scoot back. I'll pull the bowl over here so everybody can see. Okay, and we're gonna mix it. Now, I can already feel that it's really clumpy and solid when I'm using the fork.
Can I mix them?
Nope. Okay, but when you look in the bowl, it's really, really liquidy. So it's already starting the process of being non-Newtonian.
What's non-Newtonian?
Remember, it doesn't follow the predictable way that Isaac Newton said fluids and liquids should work.
Oh.
So it looks like a liquid while it's just sitting here, but every time I stick the fork in it, it's hard. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna have to do, actually, is just
Can you
put my
please
hands in.
lean back? I
Yeah,
can't.
sit back, buddy.
That's what I do every single time I make Oobleck.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so, if you're playing with this at home, it's super fun. It's kind of a weird feeling. And I will let you all try some here in just a minute. So we kind of have a pink Oobleck here. You can have whatever color you happen to have at home. or you can just have white oobleck. It's not going to change the experiment at all. And then what we're going to do is we are going to create some variables that we're going to control, and then we're going to have some of our independent variables. So we're going to take 4 sandwich bags. All right.
My hands don't follow.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Everybody's going to get 4 bags. So the variables that we're going to control, so the variables are just the things that are different or the same for each part of the test. So we are going to use 4 bags. So each egg that we test is going to have the same bag. So we're going to control for that variable.
You give me 5.
Okay. So we're going to control for that variable by giving everybody the same bag for each of their eggs. So that shouldn't affect the eggs at all. Okay, so everybody's going to get 4 bags for their 4 eggs. Okay. In the first bag, in bag A, we're going to put just the egg. And this is going to help us make sure that a normal egg, when dropped, breaks when it's in a baggie. Okay, so my hypothesis is if you just put an egg in a bag, the bag's really just to help us not make such a big mess. We are going to go outside and do this part. It's going to break. Okay? Then in the second bag, we're going to do the 2 ingredients that make up oobleck, and we're going to separate them. So in one bag we're going to put just water with an egg. In one bag we're going to put just cornstarch with an egg. And then in one bag we're going to put oobleck with an egg. And we're going to test all 4 of those. And we're going to see which variable, which of those different variables changes what happens to the egg. Okay? Does air protect the egg? Does water protect the egg? Does cornstarch protect the egg? Or does the water and the cornstarch mix together, making the non-Newtonian fluid, protect the egg? Okay? And we're going to see what happens. Okay, so we just took a minute to go ahead and separate our eggs out, and I'm going to show you what we did. We put 1 egg into a bag all by itself. There's nothing in here but the egg. Then we put 1 egg into a bag with about a half a cup of water. Then we put 1 egg into a bag with a half a cup of just cornstarch. And then we put an egg into a bag with half a cup of oobleck. Okay, you can see the egg in there around the pink oobleck. Now, a tip to get the oobleck into the bag. Because of the properties of oobleck, if you try to scoop it, like when I tried to stir it with the fork, it doesn't stir. I'm just stabbing at the oobleck and it feels hard. That's the way it works. So if I tried to scoop it with a spoon or even a measuring cup or something to get it into the bag, that's not going to work. I just held the bowl up and I poured it because it will pour like a liquid. But when you try to scoop it, it will turn into a solid. So that bit's kind of tricky. So you're going to need an adult to help you do that part. Hold your bag open and let the adult pour the oobleck into the bag, and then make sure all of the bags are sealed. Now we're going to head outside for the extra messy part. We're going to use a step ladder. We're all going to step on the step ladder at about the same height to control for that variable, so that it's not because the eggs were dropped from a higher or a lower height that affects how the eggs break. We're all going to stand about the same spot. No, we're going to do it from the step ladder on the patio. Okay? So we will meet you guys outside. Okay, so we've moved outside just in case it gets a little bit messy. You guys can do the same. And we're going to take turns dropping our eggs now. So this is Evie's bowl of eggs, and the first egg that we're going to drop is the bag that has nothing in it. We're going to see what happens to this egg, okay? So we're all going to stand just at the top of the step ladder. Just hold your arm out straight so it's all about the same height, and let her go. All right, and what happened to your egg?
It cracked.
It cracked. Go ahead and hold your bag up. That one, definitely nothing in the bag doesn't do anything for the egg. Okay, next up. Nora?
Oh, mine's that one.
Oh, sorry. Here you go. Here's your bag with nothing. Stand on top of the ladder. Just hold your arm straight out and let her go.
Is it really a her?
Sure. And what happened to your egg?
It cracked.
It cracked. Okay, Abel, what do you think's gonna happen with yours?
Crack.
Crack. Oh my goodness, and your bag exploded. Good thing we're outside, huh? All right, come pick it up and put it on the table. Oh, Luna's gonna help us clean it up. Bag is going to be the bag with the water in it. We're gonna see if the water does anything to protect the egg. Let her go. Did the water protect the egg?
Nope.
It did not.
It exploded.
It exploded. All right.
Oh,
up
and
next,
the bag popped a little.
And the bag popped a little. Okay, just come over here and put it by your bowl. Next up. Oh my goodness. Okay, next time just let it drop, because if we toss it, that's going to change the amount of force that's on the egg, and we don't want to change that variable at all.
The bottom popped a little.
Sure did. Okay, bring it over here. All right, Abel, what do you think is going to happen on yours?
I don't know. Let's see.
Whoop. The water does not protect the eggs.
Abel's bag didn't pop.
Not this time. Okay, next, Abel, I'm going to leave you up here, and we're going to let you do your cornstarch egg. All right, what do we think happened? This one's a little harder to see with the powder, but
I think it
what
cracked.
happened to your egg?
It cracked.
Did it crack? Yep, I'm seeing the yolk at the bottom come through.
Oh
The
no.
cornstarch did not protect. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. You can use his. Sorry, Charlie. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. They're all the same. Remember, we controlled for all the different variables, so it's the same thing. It's an egg in a bag with cornstarch. It's all the same. All right, next. Okay, let's see if the cornstarch protects Evie's egg.
Let's see. Nope, I can feel it cracked.
Yep. It did not protect the egg. It cracked it. Okay, so really what we're doing with all of these, go ahead. With all of these is making sure that it's not the water or the cornstarch or the bag or whatever that's actually protecting the egg. What we really want to find out is, does the oobleck protect the egg? Did the cornstarch protect your egg? Nope, your egg broke too. Look, I can see your yolk. Ooh,
I can
gross.
make bread out of that.
Maybe. So, now we need our oobleck eggs, and we're going to see what happens to these.
Can I go first?
Yes, Nora can go first because she hasn't had a turn to go first yet. All right, so let's see what happens to Nora's oobleck egg. Did your egg break?
Yeah.
Oh, nuts. All right, let's try again. Did your egg break?
No.
No, go show the camera. Evie's egg did not break. The oobleck protected it. Okay, hold on, Abel. Let's wait for Evie. Honey, don't pop the back, please. All right, go ahead, buddy. Let's see. Did your egg break? Don't squeeze it.
No.
No, it didn't. Go show there. So the oobleck can protect the egg. Does it protect it every time? Not necessarily.
No, it did. It did.
It did. I know it did. But on Nora's, it didn't. And that could have just been the way that it fell. Maybe it kind of turned a little bit when it was falling. And that's something we can't control for. That's one of those variables we can't control for. But we have found the answer to our original question and answered our hypothesis, which is,
No, Evie
can oobleck protect an egg in an egg drop? And the answer that we have found so far is yes. Okay, so we made our way back inside, and the kids are happily just playing with the oobleck. Enjoy playing with whatever oobleck you have left over that's not covered in egg yolk. So, in our experiment, all of the eggs broke except the ones in the oobleck and Nora's oobleck egg, but that's okay, it happens. And why? Why did this happen? Because when the ground hit the oobleck changed into a solid and protected the egg. And then when we picked the bag up, there's no more pressure on the oobleck, and it turned back into a liquid, and it looked just like liquid. So this is why the oobleck protected the egg. And it answered our question, and it answered our hypothesis. hypothesis, and now we have analyzed the results as to why this happened. We observed it while we were out there dropping it. We've analyzed it, and we're sharing the results with you via this video, and I hope that you share your results with me on how your Oobleck egg drop turned out. And you can always ask another question, go back through this whole process again and try it slightly differently. Does Oobleck with a little less cornstarch work? Does Oobleck with a little more cornstarch work? Does Oobleck without a bag work? Try all different kinds of things. And I can't wait to see your results, so I hope you share them with me. And I look forward to seeing you at our next and last summer reading STEM video. We're going to be talking about Greek temple architecture because in a couple weeks the Olympics start. And we're going to talk about Greek architecture. So I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for watching our STEM video. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.